So things have been getting really crazy in the Fortnite creative world, to the point where people are now taking legal stances against other map creators taking down their maps. And a lot of large creators are now taking a stance on this, like SypherPK, which we'll get into later in this video. But generally, I feel like Epic needs to take a really hard look at UEFN and creative as a whole with how the community treats it right now. And major changes need to be put into place along with a clear stance on everything. Otherwise, we're going to enter into a period of time where things are going to get very, very shady when it comes to creative. And people are already exploiting a lot of things to try and get high player counts to earn as much money as they possibly can off of this. We will kind of get into and break down my thoughts and opinions on UEFN as a whole later on towards the end of this video, though. Let's just get right into this massive drama that I seen unfold today on Twitter. And it is absolutely disgusting what some of these map makers are now doing, as well as their attitudes towards other players. Also, before we get into this breakdown, I definitely recommend subscribing and joining this amazing community, as well as a like on this video would be appreciated, as this news needs to be known by a lot of people in the community. There has to be a change done about this before things just escalate and get way out of hand. Anyways, this started a couple of days ago by mapmaker Leoxy. He posted on Twitter, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing his name right, I always mispronounce people's names, but anyways, he posted on Twitter a few days ago that his map that he spent a long time working on was taken down without any explanation whatsoever. He said he got no email, no DM, no warning, no nothing. The map was just disabled, and it was right before his payout too even. Just looking at the map and thumbnail itself, it's called Pit Ranked, and it doesn't really look like there's anything too wrong with any of this. I don't know all of the rules for Epic's guidelines on this, but it doesn't look like he even broke any of the rules with the thumbnail. So it was a big mystery to him and to anybody else that followed this map maker why this map was taken down. And it wasn't too long until we got an update on this. He ended up posting earlier today that he got an email with an explanation of why the map was taken down finally. And it was because another map maker called Geerzy ended up DMCA striking his map. And it is implied based on his tweet that it is over the trademark of the pit, which is also implying that Leoxy is infringing upon Geerzy's rights as well as his work. And this is where things can kind of be confusing and goes down a dark rabbit hole, but we're going to break all of this down and explain why this is terrible for the Fortnite community and why this has to be stopped and put an end to right away. So essentially, this Geerzy guy ended up filing for 3 trademarks in the US a couple of months ago. 2 of them are based on his name and his company, and the third one is based on The Pit, which is a map that Geerzy has posted and has been working on for a decent amount of time now. But even so, even if he has been working on this for a long time now, it is still really odd that he is even trying to register anything for this, as the design of the pit as well as the concept has been around for a very, very long time now. In fact, this goes even beyond Fortnite itself, as when calling things the pit and talking about gaming arena battles, there have been maps and different design concepts called that for years. One popular example that I could even bring up is one of the original Halo games had a thing called the pit in it, and we're talking games that released 20 years ago. Going even further, Geerzy and his team wasn't even the first team to do this for Fortnite itself, and this guy has even been quoted in a picture posted by SypherPK of some comments he made in a stream. When referring to the pit, he talked about his version of the map, showing that he knows that he wasn't even the first creator to do this, and it's not even his design concept. It is just a version that he made. So going back to Leoxy's post about the update and who took it down, there's already a few massive things wrong with this. Now, I'm not sure if Leoxy knew a lot about the trademark status, but Geerzy doesn't even have the trademark confirmed to him yet. It is still pending. So Geerzy has no trademark on the name The Pit yet. But going even further, Leoxy's map wasn't even called The Pit. It was just straight up called Pit. One single word. So this is where things started to blow up on Twitter about this, and a lot of large content creators now are taking a stance and commenting on this. And it's not the only thing the Geerzy person has done that is extremely shady either, which we'll get into the other things later. But just to break down everything for you guys so far, this Geerzy guy and his team are now trying to take claim to the pit itself, the design, the name, the concept, everything behind it, for a team that never came up with this concept, a team that did not even come up with the name on their own. They are essentially just the most popular version of this map, and thus they are now trying to bully every other person that they can. And you can almost go as far as saying that this is essentially trying to create a monopoly of this style of game mode within Fortnite, and so far Epic has not really done anything to address this, which is absolutely insane, as Epic usually has a very harsh stance against monopolies. In fact, I always have to applaud Epic, as they are usually trying to take the right stance when it comes to things like this. We have seen that they alleged that Apple had a monopoly and tried to even go after Apple. Unfortunately, they did lose that court case, but it is really odd to see this taking place within Fortnite, especially knowing Epic's stance on this type of thing. What it really comes down to is money too, as there is a lot of money that is paid out to these map creators that have high player counts, but this is also a larger conversation that we'll get into at the end of this video too, as there is a lot more I have to say on that. Anyways, getting back into the larger conversation, this is where I became aware of the whole situation myself. SypherPK ended up tweeting out, "Yo, FN Create, you guys just letting one of your top map makers abuse copyright. No one owns the word The Pit." And Geerzy ended up replying saying, "Maybe ask a lawyer about the difference between copyright and trademark." And I just have to say, what an amazing response from this Geerzy guy. I've never heard or seen him before this, but this guy just comes off as so arrogant and having such an attitude and chip on his shoulder for no reason whatsoever. To start DMCAing and striking other creators and then to go at other creators with this attitude, it is truly pathetic of this guy. And honestly, it's sad that he even got to the position he got to. But regardless, Sypher does bring up a very valid point, as you cannot trademark generic words. Even if, for whatever reason, Geerzy's trademark gets approved of The Pit, you cannot just trademark a singular word of Pit. So if that is what he truly filed the strike against the other guy for, it is a completely 100% false copyright strike and straight up just an abuse of the system. And again, this is just setting precedents and a huge example of this guy trying to be the only one with a map that is like this, so he can get the most money he possibly can from having high player counts and high player retention. Now, this is where Sypher replied to that comment, showing a piece of the picture I showed earlier, quoting Geerzy and saying, "In my version of the Pit," and saying, "You yourself understand that your map is just your version of the Pit, a generic game type that existed before you made your map on Fortnite." To which Geerzy then responded back to that one saying, "Sounds like you still haven't spoken to a lawyer." I mean, you could truly see the character of this guy and the way he interacts with other people over this matter. I really don't have to comment on who this person is, but you could truly see who this guy is based on all of this so far. Sypher had one more clap back, which was an amazing response. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but here it is. It says, "Go speak to your parents," and you guys can see the rest. As of the time that I recorded this, there weren't any more interaction between the two. However, Sypher did post one more final video over this whole matter, which showcases a huge abuse of the system in general, and shows just how broken Discovery is in Fortnite. So what am I talking about? Well, if you load up this Geerzy guy's pit map, over in the starting area of the pit map, you can see there is the mythic Zeus lightning bolt on the ground, and when you go over to it, it has almost like as if it's a pickup option. It says press E to use, and then when you actually do that, it brings up a menu saying that you should like and favorite his map. That is generally all that happens when you click on that every single time too. I don't know if there's a difference or if it changes over time. Some people may not be fooled by this, but imagine a bunch of very young people coming into this map, seeing this. They're going to think that if you like and favorite this map, you will get this Zeus lightning bolt. And when used right, this weapon could be extremely powerful over all other weapons. So you could just imagine a young child is really going to want to use this against all of the other people in the public lobbies. This is essentially baiting to get likes and favorites for this map for something that you're not even going to get. It's also not the only shady thing he has done, as look at these completely useless timers for player retention in his map, locking off the use of certain weapons. The only real purpose something like this serves in a map is just to ensure that players who want to use that will stick around for the entire half an hour before they can actually use that stuff, and this bloats his player retention time and player count. Having the bait lightning bolt to like and favorite is an extreme abuse of the system, but why is it so important to this creator too? Sypher ended up pointing out exactly what happened after the guy added this to his map.
Here, this got added onto the map earlier this week around March 24th, and ever since it got added, the pit went from most favorited number 8 to number 7 to number 6, 4, 3, 2, and now it is the number 1 most favorited map in Fortnite.
And while that's hilarious and sad at the same time, you can see how well exploiting and abusing the player base works, and it really seriously matters that these people have this many likes and favorites on their maps, especially since they are abusing the system and baiting people to do this. As you'll see in the discovery menu, they also have a section for most favorited, and this map is now the #1 map, and it is always going to be at the #1 spot until something is done about this, or unless something actually comes along and overtakes it with getting legitimate favorites over these false, faked, baited favorites from young people that just don't know any better. The responses to Sypher's video also just highlight how disgusted the larger side of the community is over these things happening, as there's just comment after comment after comment in support of something being done about this. And that wraps up pretty much everything that I had seen that had happened publicly over all of this. So we're going to get into why this is so important and why more people need to talk about this and expose how crazy of a situation this actually is, and that Epic needs to take action fast over all of this. Essentially, we have a creator, Geerzy, and maybe he had a different background before he entered the Fortnite community, who knows, but he has profited a lot of money off of Fortnite. And what has he done with this? Instead of doing something positive, he has went and bought lawyers to then try and monopolize something he never even came up with in the first place, and has used that to target and abuse other map makers. Essentially, again, as we were talking earlier, to create a monopoly over this whole situation, to further gain more and more money off of the Fortnite community, while also, again, doing super shady things like clickbaiting in order to get more likes and favorites to get to the higher results on the Fortnite discovery page. Not only is all of that so super shady, potentially illegal too, and abuse of the whole copyright systems and DMCA systems in the US, but it gives everything such a bad look for Fortnite in general. Creators like this, if you guys are unaware, are actually making millions of dollars per year with these higher player count and retentions. And in my opinion, this is such a waste of resources and money from Epic Games paying this out. This is not money generated by the player base buying anything. This is Epic just paying out these map makers that are making this directly out of the funds that are made from everything else from Fortnite. I know a lot of people do rely on their creator payouts like this for making maps, but when this is the top map that is getting paid out the most amount of money, in my opinion, this is such a waste of money Epic could be spending and using this towards anything else. When Creative 2.0 and UEFN was initially shown to us, we were promised a bunch of very high quality experiences, and thus far, I don't think we have gotten those experiences. At least if there are a lot of people that have put in a ton of time and effort making crazy experiences like that, they're not shown to us. The discovery menu is an absolute mess, and seeing the shady creators get put to the top and making the most money for the least amount of effort just makes me not want to have creative put into the game at all. You take a look at other games that have open content like Geery's mod or Roblox, and it is such a better system with way more high quality experiences that are just shown to you right off the bat, versus we're seeing a bunch of drama and clickbait, just terrible stuff shown to us for these new discovery menus. But in my opinion, that's another major issue, is with Epic Games' algorithm right now in the discovery menu, and the UI in general is just a mess. That's a huge topic for another video. Not really going to get into that too much in this video. The last thing I do want to show in this video is something about the creator Geerzy, the one we've been talking about this whole video, the one who's been doing the shady things. On his website, I seen he has a list of game modes, of all of the game modes and maps that he has currently available that you can see and play. And taking a look at the top, we have the pit, which he added trademark to that. I think that is just so pathetic. I don't even have to say anything more on that. We've been talking about this the whole video. But at the top of his map list, he has the pit. Then the next one is once again the pit. And then the next one is once again the pit. All three things he has not made up the original concept for. He's just copying the concept, putting his own spin on it. And now he's trying to monopolize that. But scrolling further, we have Tower of Abi. This is a map that's basically those climb the tower maps. He did not come up with this concept or design. The next map, the Parkour Death Run 200+. Another one of his maps. He did not come up with the concept of parkour death runs. He is just doing other people's concepts for a map. The next one, the walls, Bed Wars. Bed Wars has been around forever. It is not something he came up with. Once again, he is using somebody else's design and concept to make a map from that. Scrolling even further, Color Block. Once again, this type of map style is not something he came up with. He is using somebody else's map styles, designs, concepts, themes to put his own spin on something and make his own map from that. But again, the whole basic idea is he is not not coming up with original ideas. Moving even further, the only original idea in the very last map in the list, so his only map that is completely original, is Winter Mansion, where you explore a winter cabin. I've not actually played this map, so maybe it does even copy off of other people's designs and concepts. At the end of the day, it does not matter that he is making concepts based on other people's works and ideas that he did not truly come up with. That is one of the amazing things that we see within modding communities for games, is making a ton of different designs and concepts based on other things that have already been made and improving upon them. The whole point of me showing his entire published map list on his website is to show that pretty much every single one of his published maps is based upon something that somebody else already made up well before him, and he is just doing popular and trending map design types. So it is so hypocritical of him to then try and copyright the design of the pit and then to go after other map makers that are making concepts that he never came up with. And if you look at his map list, it's pretty much all maps and concept from ideas of other people. But I guess this is what happens when you give somebody power like this and you give them a ton of money, tens of millions of dollars. It is just truly sad to see this happen in the Fortnite community right now. Epic needs to step up and take a stance. In my opinion, this guy should just straight up be removed from the program and banned. That is a clear stance of how he is going to act, specifically going to lawyers and then now coming up with legal documents, sending them to Epic, and taking down other people's maps for something he truly does not own. This type of thing is seriously hurting Creative 2.02 and the maps, quality of maps that we're getting. I have seen many map makers on Twitter say, why should we put so much time and effort into making these crazy experiences when this is the type of map that just gets promoted to the top? And when we see how it got promoted to the top, it was done in the most shady way using clickbait. So in general, this hurts Creative as a whole, and this also sets a dangerous precedence if Epic does not take a stance on this and resolve this issue immediately. That's pretty much all I have to say on this topic though. I believe I've covered everything that there was to see so far at the time of recording this. Usually I don't make these types of drama videos, however, this is something that is very important for Fortnite's health in the long term and Creative in general. I probably won't make an update to this, as unless something major happens, there's not really a reason to continue commenting on this. The usual type of video I do is Fortnite leaks, as well as Fortnite storyline and lore videos and other fun content type videos. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely recommend subscribing and joining this amazing community. This has been the Walkthrough King, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Peace out, and I hope you guys enjoyed this ramble.